Alright, and we are ready to roll. Hello, YouTube, and welcome to the beginning of the online Super Series for September and the beginning of October 2023 on America's Card Room, where I am now the full-time commentator, no longer playing in any of these tournaments, but I don't mind. I took my shot, and I missed. That's all there is to it. So, what we have here is a final table of Omaha. Thank goodness. I love Omaha. It's the only one that I actually singled out, though. The rest of the final tables are all Hold'em. But at least it's here. First of all, shout outs to these guys who participated and didn't quite make it. Of course, you'll see some uh, less than wholesome names among the list. And 9. Alright, so the brief lowdown for this one. $109 buy-in, 261 entrants for a total guaranteed prize pool of 20,000. Ended up being 26,100. You see the prize pool up top there. And yeah, not a whole lot of entrants, but enough to at least get well past the guarantee. We do have a semi-international final table with a lot of Americans, which again, like, it seems like the PLO games on America's Card Room are the precise opposite of what I'm used to seeing from watching IRL poker tournaments, because for one, it's dominated by Americans when every IRL poker tournament that I've seen is dominated by if not Europeans, then Latin America. It's a lot more popular in those two places. At least last time I checked. I don't. Maybe everybody's caught on to Omaha now. And the other thing is, look at how many big blinds everybody has. In this online tournament, this is quite common. People are just willing to play for stacks really, really easily on the internet. In IRL poker, I've seen final tables of Omaha where the chip leader will have like 35 big blinds. People are much more risk averse IRL, which, to be fair, is true for any variant of poker. I don't know what it is about online poker that makes everybody be willing to play for stacks. Although here, Rick Vaughn here probably should make a big raise here because he's got 2 aces and a king even. So, yeah, that's pretty standard. Pocket nines, but with absolutely nothing else to work with. That's a smart fold, I'd say, by RMFT. I've been pretty lucky when choosing tables to commentate on. I've been pretty lucky that not too many names have been problematic to say out loud. Booby Smiles is probably the most problematic I've had so far, and I still don't think that's going to get me into any trouble. But yeah, that's a new record for most problematic name at a final table. I do have a okay, Professor Bob. It's a min raise. You're in the big blind. Make a decision. You're at the final table. Dude, make up your mind. It's not hard. What was that? There's no reason to stall like that. You're at the final table. Very nice looking hand for a JLV. Pair of nines, but they're double suited. One of them is a connecting card, the 7, and then the ace adds the possibility of hitting the nut flush. But everybody folds here. This is a tournament where it started out with 20-minute levels until the ridiculously late reg finally ended, and then it became 10-minute levels. I'm going to be a little bit lower energy than usual, which I'm sure will a lot of you breathing a sigh of relief. because my family and I went out to the Cracker Barrel today, and I had some delicious food. The maple bacon chicken with side orders of mashed potatoes and carrots. Absolutely delicious. But it was also like right about the limit of what my stomach could take, and I became pretty food drunk afterwards. I've managed to rest that off, and I'm ready to actually talk like a non-inebriated human now. And Run the Karma has decided to completely bluff here. RMFT has a combo draw plus pocket tens. I don't think he's going anywhere. I mean, yes, Run the Karma has a pair of sevens, but this is a bluff. In Omaha, middle pair is absolutely nothing. RMFT has a little bit of misgivings, though. I understand that because he realizes that he's probably playing for stacks if he goes any further, and he says no! He says no to an overpair, a gut shot, and a flush draw. And the bluff works for Run the Karma. Now, let me briefly take a gander at the prize pool here. There is a $130 difference right now, which is fairly substantial, although at a $109 buy-in, it shouldn't be that big a difference, or that big a deal. If both these guys have absolute air. Maybe I'm not as food sober as I thought, but the airier hand gets the job done again, which is kind of funny. We're seeing, like, these guys have huge stacks, all things considered, who have made it here, and yet they are willing to play relatively conservatively when the time calls for that. RMFT with a double-suited, super connected hand. That's really pretty. Gambello has a couple of aces. Not to look past JLV, but Gambello has a couple of aces, plus the 8-7. It is rainbow, but that is the type of hand that you'll see somebody pop it in for another million. JLV's hand would be fantastic in Omaha High-Low. He says no to it here, though. And he does do just that. In fact, he makes it another 1.2 million, which I'm sure is maximum raise. The double-suited ace-king will come along. I don't think RMFT wants to play for stacks, though, judging by the fold he made earlier. Oh, he is going to play for stacks. I must say, if he got a nice... Wow. Speaking of nice flops. He got a really nice flop and didn't want to play for stacks earlier. Now he's willing to play for stacks pre-flop with 4 cards lower than queen. Just saying, seems kind of weird. He's going to be really happy with that flop for now. Rick Vaughn, of course, has the nut flush. Gambello with really nothing at all. The pocket aces are effectively worthless now. And when Rick Vaughn bets all in, Gambello's going to have to fold and be content with having 3 million behind. Though to be fair to Gambello, he really didn't do anything wrong with this hand. Just a terrible flop for him. Okay, now he's doing something wrong with the hand. I have no idea why he called there. He didn't even have a gut shot. He just had a pair of aces. Now you fold. I really don't understand that call. Well, as you can see, there actually was outs for RMFT. I didn't even notice that, to be honest, and I didn't pause in time for it to happen. But obviously, he didn't get it. So, congratulations on making the final table. Probably should have taken the gamble earlier, but oh well. I'm one to talk. I make way more mistakes than that. The Hake with another very pretty hand. Okay, let me pause and actually try to analyze this flop. There's 4 people here. The Hake is all over. He's got top 2 pair plus the 8. And the 10 also working for him. So if there's a 9 on the turn, he's got the nut straight. I think a 4 works as well. Yeah, 4 does work as well because the 8-7 would connect to the 6-5-4. So the Hake is all over that one. JLV, no. Rick Vaughn, little bit. He needs an 8. And Run the Karma needs a 3. But even then, the 3 wouldn't work very well. Actually, wait. It would in this case because Run the Karma is the only one with a 4 that actually connects to the board. Yeah, Run the Karma needs a 3. The Hake, though, is just all over this board. The smart thing to do would be to make a sizable bet, and everybody else should fold. That's not sizable. I would bet a bit more, maybe 700. Drawing to the nuts, Rick Vaughn's going to make the call. Plus, he also just has a really big stack. And that's not the nuts. In fact, it's a complete brick. Now the Hake can just win this pot right now. But he checks, and that 3 comes, and the Hake... Oh, that's brutal. The Hake does not have a straight. He just has 7s and 6s. There's 4 to a straight out there. He does not have a 4. Rick does have a 4. It doesn't work in this spot, but he's got the 4. So he thinks he can probably bluff by representing the 4 with the 2 or the 8. And the Hake, if I'm the Hake, well, first of all, I would have, like I said, bet more. For this exact reason. And second of all, I don't think he can make this call. There's a lot that can beat 2 pair. Especially when there's 4 to a straight out there. This would be one impressive hero call if he can make it. But he can't. Rick Vaughn with a very nice bluff. Taking advantage of the situation. Realizing he's got that 4, he can represent having the 4 and the other card to actually make it work. A couple of kings for Rick Vaughn. Professor Bob, I don't think he's going anywhere with that hand. They're both double suited. This could be pre-flop here. Nope. And everything coming up Rick Vaughn so far. King high flush. With even a redraw to a 6, or, of course, the pocket kings. Professor Bob with absolutely none of that. Even the 6. Wow. Yeah, Rick Vaughn's got a flush and a 6. Waiting for Professor Bob to bluff at it. He's not coming. And it looks like he's got a straight flush. He doesn't. He still needs both cards, but he still has the board smashed. So good job to Professor Bob for not falling for any of that tactics. But Rick Vaughn is just on a roll right now. Representing Colombia. Professor Bob with another strong hand. I probably would have gone for the all-in pre-flop there, to be honest. He's getting a little short. And now he's going to go, well, effectively all-in. It's pot limit. That's a really good flop for his cards, and okay. A little bit of a comeback. The Hake. Short stack now. More big cards for Rick Vaughn. Booby Smiles with certainly a playable hand. That's a max raise, but I would probably call that. No! He says no. Run the Karma can call from the big blind for sure. And that board is 3 bricks, but it hits Rick Vaughn better. Oh, here we go. They both have flush draws. This time Rick Vaughn will be on the wrong end of it. Run the Karma also could hit an 8 for a straight. I don't think Rick Vaughn does not have a straight draw. Run the Karma is going to go ahead and bet maximum here. And 8. Run the Karma hits that straight. It's super well disguised and checks. I don't think Rick Vaughn's going to take the bait. No, he doesn't. Good job by Rick Vaughn. And I understand that move by Run the Karma because Run the Karma must have been paying attention to the hand between Rick Vaughn and Professor Bob, where he was just waiting to bet on the river. He's hoping. I hope you were slow playing a set or something because I'm gonna trap you. It was not the worst plan in the world. JLV with excellent cards. A little bit upsetting that they're all rainbow, but he's going to go for it, understandably. Professor Bob, of course, with aces and most of the stack already in there. Here we go. All in. And we have a flop that changes absolutely nothing. Moving on, then. 10. Let's see. JLV is looking for a queen, obviously, or a 9. And I think that's it. That didn't really complicate things much. Queen or 9. 6. Professor Bob with the double up. And the comeback really is on now. Very nice. Booby Smiles has yet to play a hand. Almost an auto raise every time he gets it, Rick Vaughn. Pretty big cards there from Professor Bob, but doesn't want... Oh, shoot. We've got the nut. We've got pretty much the nut hand pre-flop. Ace, ace, king 2, double suited. And there's the third ace for JLV. And Rick Vaughn flops a pair and a flush draw and a straight draw. This is all in. We're see you at the river, as Joe Stapleton likes to say. Yeah, snap call. And a queen to give Rick Vaughn trips. That's not as good of a card as it looks, though, obviously, because it gives JLV aces full. So the flush and the straight are a moot point now. Rick Vaughn can literally only win with the last queen in the deck on the river. Nope. So just like that, that's how quickly it happens, especially in online Omaha. JLV wins that pot and is now the chip leader at 8 million. Everything was coming up Rick Vaughn, and one hand undoes so much progress. You really can't blame him at all for anything that just happened, either. Alright, that queen helps a lot of people. Rick Vaughn, though, has 2 pair. Doesn't feel comfortable betting it, and I can't really blame him, because I can speak from experience. Bottom 2 pair is the hardest hand to play in Omaha. Without question. The checking around may enable him to bet here. JLV didn't get any help with that turn card. Well, I got a little bit of help. A 10 now would give him a straight. But he wouldn't be happy about it. There's another queen. Rick Vaughn now with queens full. Gambello with just a pair of jacks. With a 10 kicker. Rick Vaughn with queens full. Now he's going to bet. And not maximum either. JLV with the queen does decide to pay it off. And they will effectively flip-flop chip stacks. So Rick Vaughn now again slightly out in front. Booby Smiles with playable hand again. I've seen him fold some playable hands already. 180,000 to enter this pot. It's 825 already in the middle. And finally decides to play a little bit of poker. Rick Vaughn with the best of it again. Not a great flop, but better than the other guys. Bob has nothing in that one that he could like. And 2 pair now for Rick Vaughn. Booby Smiles with an interesting dilemma here because he's got an open-ended straight draw, but he's blocking himself with those 2 sevens. He needs a 2 or a 7, but he's got 2 sevens. So he's actually blocking his own straight draw. Oh, wait, sorry. I thought I'd pressed the play button, but apparently I haven't. And we can see that there's another 7 there and 2 2s that are gone as well. He does decide to keep going. Jack of clubs on the river. I'd probably check if I'm Rick Vaughn. Yeah, Booby Smiles with just a pair of 7s, and knows he can't win it unless he bluffs at it, but does he want to bluff at it? No, he doesn't. Rick Vaughn takes another one. He is clearly the man to beat right now. And I must say, it was nice to see the name Gallo Doido 13 again, because you may remember that I commentated on Final Table earlier with another Gallo Doido from Brazil, more recently at the High Five series. I knew that I had seen a Gallo Doido from Brazil before, and that was him. Gallo Doido 13, and it was another Omaha Final Table. So he's definitely an Omaha specialist. JLV with a very nice flop, overpair plus open-ended draw. This pot's probably not going to be very big. No. He smiles with a pretty quick fold for another playable hand. The Hake probably... Oh, he's not going to go for it yet. He had a pair and a couple suited connectors. I probably would have gone for that. I wouldn't have been ecstatic about it, but I probably would have been willing to gamble. You're getting real short. And against all odds, there's two clubs out there. We've got clubs covered pretty well. But what Rick Vaughn's even more excited about probably is a straight outs. He's got 7, 6, 4, 5, and there's a 2, 3 out there. So an ace works, a 4 works, a 5 works, and a 6 works. JLV with the better club draw, obviously. And a 4 would be disastrous because he wouldn't have the best straight. Again, these are the two big stacks. Let's see how hard they want to play against each other. Just a call there. And that 2 might kill all the action. Neither one of these guys has a pair. So even if they hit their draws, they could still be worried about a full house. He's going to keep betting, though. And that's going to work. Rick Vaughn's got some pretty creative ideas when it comes to Omaha, clearly. Back to 11 million. He is just floating through this field. The Hake, that looks like a hand to go with. Unfortunately, JLV... Bro. What are you waiting for? The good thing he folded, because JLV's got aces with a king. Just a call, unusual, letting Gambello into the hand, I might add, with his pair of jacks and suited connectors. Rick Vaughn with a piece of that board, but the 9s are still his best cards. I think JLV only called because of ICM. He's surrounded by really short and tight stacks. He's going to make a move here. Rick Vaughn with a queen. Yeah, I understand that call. And this might go check, check. Not really anything for either player to be super ecstatic about. Oh, actually, I just realized Rick Vaughn had 2 pair. But that 3 counterfeits the 2 pair. Oh. Refer back to what I just said about him having some creative ideas on how to play Omaha. That is a guy who knows what ICM pressure is. Maximum raise to effectively... No, it is all-in. That's an all-in raise to the guy who started out as the second biggest stack at the table, surrounded by all these short stacks. He's going to act like he just filled up. JLV with just the pocket aces, it's good, but there is no way he's going to want to stick his entire tournament on that. With all those other short stacks around. That is a brilliant move. Give it up to Rick Vaughn. That's one heck of a bluff. And that's a bluff 100%. There's no way he's making that move thinking that Queen 5 is good. Booby smiles with another hand that could easily... he's got 10 big blinds, or not even that much. JLV again with a blessing of a hand. Professor Bob with a hand that might be hard to dump as well. Oh, come on! What are you doing? Why would you limp and then fold? What was the point of that? Who limp folds with 10 big blinds left? Seriously. Pot bet from Run the Karma with all kinds of draws here. Mostly of the straight variety. JLV again has aces, but he's got Queen 7 as well, so he's got 2 pair. And the aces to back him up. Let's see. This might be his time. It's going to be a tough one, though. I would expect this to be a long decision. He has the best... Yeah, he's going for it. Run the Karma, of course, is putting in way too much to fold now, so let's see who's luckier. And the 6 comes. 8-9 works for Run the Karma. The straight comes home. JLV is now going to need a queen or a 7. Ace is no good. That just gives him trips. That doesn't beat a straight. So it's got to be a queen or a 7, or JLV, who I believe was the chip leader coming into this final table, is out in 7th. No good. JLV is out of here in 7th place. I don't think he did anything particularly wrong at this final table, but he was outplayed by Rick Vaughn and outlucked, I guess, by Run the Karma, although Run the Karma with a very reasonable gamble on his own right there, or her own right. Booby smiles, giving away another big blind with a hand with a bit of potential, not a lot though. Again, though, what is... That's what Booby Smiles was waiting for. Literally about the best hand you could possibly pick up in Omaha. Bob with an easy fold, I think. Run the Karma, of course, has to call. Uh-oh! You see, the thing about waiting for really big cards in Omaha is, even when you get big cards, that kind of flop is going to come out an awful lot. There's no real reason to wait that long in Omaha because you're not going to have that big of an advantage. Look at what Run the Karma is suddenly working with here. She's got the Jack and all those small cards that Booby Smiles doesn't have. He's just got the aces working. The 10 doesn't work for Run the Karma because Booby Smiles has the Ace King. But Run the Karma can now win, or at least take the lead, with a 5, 3, 9, Jack, or Diamond. 3. Run the Karma has the lead. Booby Smiles has to pair up one of his cards or see a 4 to counterfeit the 2 pair. And of course, they can't be diamonds. 9 of hearts, no good. Booby Smiles is out in 6th place. Managed to hang on by folding, but couldn't do it any longer. Found the best hand you could possibly start with in Omaha, pretty much. But it's no good. Run the Karma takes him out and pretty much ties the lead with Rick Vaughn. The Hake, congratulations, you folded your way into 5th place with under $1 million left. I would take that. I would take that kind of hand. He is with 6.5 big blinds left. I don't know why Rick Vaughn's calling there. I mean, he must feel bulletproof. Can't really be blamed. Run the Karma with a pocket pair plus open ender. Obviously, the Hake is going all in no matter what. He's picked up a very good flop for it, though. Top 2 pair. Rick Vaughn with... I guess he can call. I don't know why he called in the first place. And there's the 10 of hearts. Run the Karma hits both the straight and the flush. I didn't even notice the flush draw. Run the Karma loves it. Rick Vaughn, oh boy, did he just fill up? No, he didn't. Okay, so Rick Vaughn can't make it too bad for Run the Karma. Run the Karma, though, bets now. Frankly, I would have preferred to see a check to make sure that Rick Vaughn couldn't, you know, bet 4 million, only go 2.8, but okay. So the Hake takes 5th place. Gambello has folded into 4th place. Yeah, only north, south, east, and west have actually been trying to win here. The other ones have just been folding their way up. Obviously, a fantastic flop for Run the Karma. Let's not pretend that I didn't notice that. Rick Vaughn with a straight. He's probably not going anywhere just yet. Bob with just a pair. And hold on a second. That's a 7. That pairs the board. Run the Karma with a 7. But not a boat. Still got a flush. And again, big stack versus big stack. If I'm Run the Karma here, I check and call whatever Rick Vaughn puts out there. But she's different. And Rick Vaughn with a very nice fold. Knows that if she can bet on 2 streets, she probably has a straight beat. Rick Vaughn really not making any mistakes. Not only that, but being a playmaker as well. Bob willing to go for it. 10-7, 2-pair double suited. Run the Karma, it probably has another 10-7 of her own. And she's put in 1,246,000. Is she putting that into fold? There's 2.2 million to go. No, if she's not putting it into fold, Queen, 3, Jack with 2 spades. Professor Bob likes this flop. Run the Karma, though, has some outs. King for a straight, 8 for a straight, and the other cards for a straight. Let's see. I think it's just a king or an 8 for now. 2 of clubs obviously changes absolutely nothing. So, king or an 8, or else Professor Bob doubles up. The 9. Bob gets the double up. Remember, he was down pretty low earlier, but he's actually been actively trying to chip up, and he's doing a great job so far. Gambello, you have to play this. You have to play this. Thank you. Bob with a couple of queens and a suited jack. If he didn't have Run the Karma to act behind him, this would be a very easy call. I still think he'll make it. Oh, he's going to re-raise. So Run the Karma is definitely out of here with just a king. Run the Karma is definitely out of here with just a king. Thank you. All right, ace works for Gambello, obviously. Run Professor Bob with the queens and then the jack, but looking for some runner help mostly. There's a jack! Doesn't need runner if you can just hit trips there. Gambello, actually, let me see. Hold on. He's got just the ace. The king. 10. He can only win with the 10. Wait, no. Ace works as well. Ace or a 10. Nope. Gambello folded his way into 4th place. I'm sure he played excellent to get to the final table, but obviously pretty conservative once he found his way here. But three out of the 4 people who were actually trying have made it to 3-handed. And Bob with an excellent comeback. You got to give it up to him. You got to give it up to all 3 of these guys for different reasons. And boy, do they have some play in them right now. But if I know Omaha, there's going to be some kind of crazy cooler going on. And no chip stack will be safe. This isn't the craziest hand. In fact, flush for Rick Vaughn. And Run the Karma is making it very clear that she is done with this hand. Unless she wants to try and bluff that card, but I don't think Rick Vaughn's going anywhere. Yeah. Might be targeting it just a king or a5. But Run the Karma doesn't even have that much. He has queen high. She decides to fold. Rick Vaughn takes it. And this is anybody's game. My goodness. Look how this turned out. 997. There's a nice flop for Run the Karma. Rick Vaughn, of course, with a 5. Can steal this one. And he wants to try and hit it. 7 on the turn. Now, Run the Karma, of course, does not have a boat. She just has a 9 with top kicker. But, yeah, that should do it. Next. Finally, some calm pots. Ooh. Couple double suited hands. I don't think Rick Vaughn's just going to fold here. Now, he's going to take this on, and there's already a huge pot. Another common theme in Omaha games. And Rick Vaughn called. Oh, he's got some kind of plan. Because he had no draw whatsoever. The 8 comes, which now actually does give him a draw. If he hits a 7 or a queen, he gets a straight. But he's got some kind of plan. Well, the Karma has an open ender now. And checks, and here comes the plan. I can only assume that small bet tipped him off. Now he's going for it, about a third pot. Run the Karma with just draws. Oh, Run the Karma's learned a thing or two about Rick Vaughn's game. All in on just the draws. Rick Vaughn with just king high and a couple of gut shots has to lay it down. There you go. That's a great move by Run the Karma. You gotta love it. You gotta love to see that. And suddenly we go from anybody's game to Run the Karma actually holding more than the other two combined. All right. Pretty good looking board for Rick Vaughn. Run the Karma with a little bit of it. Bottom pair and a gut shot. Keeps betting away, though. Rick Vaughn with top pair and an open ender. Does not hit the draw yet. No way he can fold to that bet, though. 3 of clubs. Nobody had clubs. Rick Vaughn's hand is good, and he can check and just take it down if he wants. Okay. Bob's getting a little card dead. Don't forget about him, though. That's not card dead. He can take this pot. Run the Karma probably wanted to play, but I don't know about that much. Oh, she is going to give it a shot. Rick Vaughn. Ooh, boy. Okay, they're all going for it. I'm not going to be able to follow this. I can try. I can try. We've got... Nobody even has a pair. Nobody has a pair. Oh my god. Okay, so the aces obviously work on this board. Run the Karma with an open ender. Needs a jack or a 6. Rick Vaughn can win with a 9. Bob, right now in position to chop the pot. His best option to win would either be a queen would also only chop it. If he wants to win this whole thing, he needs a 4. Oh, that's lucky for me. I don't think that changed anything. All right, let's see the river. 9. Rick Vaughn takes the entire pot with a straight. An incredibly unlikely knockout blow. Professor Bob playing his heart out from being so short-stacked, but gotta give it up to him. But he's going to settle for 3rd place. Rick Vaughn catches the lightning bolt in the bottle. And suddenly has 23 million playing against 9.3. I'm just proud of myself that I was able to follow that hand. Pocket jacks and a up and down draw for Run the Karma. Rick Vaughn with a wraparound straight draw. That's improbably enough not one of them, and he doesn't want to hit the straight now because Run the Karma's already got it. 3 hearts out there, but Run the Karma with the nut straight has to like it, and Rick Vaughn not wasting any more chips here. Good hands here. Rick Vaughn definitely with the better of it, though. And hits the 9, and that is about it. I don't know how that flop managed to miss both players. Interestingly, he checks. Run the Karma goes ahead and bets with absolutely none of that board. And he tank calls, and now he's got 2 pair. Run the Karma with less chance of getting this bluff through now. But does continue representing a hand. Rick Vaughn got a bigger piece of it and will call 10 of diamonds. The board's getting awfully straighty and connecty, and we have a very similar situation to what we saw earlier, except this time it's Rick Vaughn on the receiving end of it. Run the Karma's got the jack. She just doesn't have the card to go with it. But she has the jack, meaning it's less likely that Rick Vaughn's got a jack. She can represent the full straight here. And even with 2 pair, which I believe is exactly what happened to the other guy, this is a very tough call to make. And great play by Run the Karma. This is some very high-level Omaha stuff. Like, it's kind of rare that we actually see bluffing demonstrated at Omaha. Oh, my God. Run the Karma hits bottom set. Rick Vaughn hits 3 pair. That's the last 8 in the deck, and it came with the king and the jack. That is a custom-built flop by the robot overlords. And they... Oh, my goodness. Rick Vaughn with jacks full. Run the Karma with 8s full. And they are managing to keep this pot relatively small, and that is almost a straight flush for Run the Karma. Rick Vaughn loves it. Bets pot. Snap calls. Great job by Run the Karma not going broke there. Especially heads up. Not much to this one. Move on. You don't have to win every single hand. You guys are deep enough. Like, really deep. Really, really deep. Nice flop for Run the Karma. Pair with a gut shot. Rick Vaughn with top pair, though. Make that top 2. Run the Karma's draw improves, but she's going to need to hit it. Yeah, pot bet is the right play there with top 2. Is Run the Karma willing to gamble that much? She's got to get back in this somehow. She has a pretty severe chip disadvantage, but she says no to this draw. Maybe expecting that a spade would nullify it. It wouldn't have. Oh my God, that's an ugly hand. 2-2-2-5 rainbow. Yeah, that is a walk. That is 100% a walk. I've never seen pocket quads in Omaha. That was pretty close. Run the Karma with kind of a spread eagle type hand, but some potential, sort of. Not the worst flop ever, but with not a whole lot of... The problem with this hand is that Run the Karma has very little hope to improve her hand from here. If she hits a 9, 5, or 3, that doesn't really change anything. That's a card. Straight flush draw. Jack of spades gives her a straight flush. Rick Vaughn, though, with the ace high straight. Two of clubs could not have missed any better. And the straight works for Rick Vaughn as he distances himself just a bit more. Rick Vaughn with a very connected hand, and that board is among those connections. Run the Karma also had a very connected hand, just not with that board. Rick Vaughn now with a straight, the 3-4 connecting with the ace 2 and 5. Goes with the raise, does not want to see the board pair. And he picks up that pot. Run the Karma, still in it though, at 7.4 million. Doesn't look very good, but that's 45 big blinds, 46 actually. So she does still have a pretty decent chance. It's pot limit. So if she completely airballs the flop, she can only lose so much at a time. Oh my. Trips for Rick Vaughn. He's smashing a lot of these boards. But he's also winning a lot of big pots without cards. Five, 2-2. No one's got much of that. But Rick Vaughn's got the big stack. Oddly enough, bets minimum there. Queen of clubs helps no one. Run the Karma. Still with the best of it. Ace hits Rick Vaughn. Probably was prepared to bluff, but ends up with a pair of aces, and that's good. Pretty nice looking hand for Rick Vaughn. Run the Karma with a pretty raggedy board, but at this point, you really have to just go with whatever you're dealt. Straight flush draw for Rick Vaughn. Can't hit it. Run the Karma's got the 8 of spades. But he can hit the straight or flush. Ooh, and the raise. Run the Karma. Don't think he's willing to fold. Well, he still has a straight flush draw. If you get the 3 of spades now, Rick Vaughn's certainly not going anywhere. The worst that can happen is he loses 5 million from here. And 7 of hearts. Rick Vaughn's still with the flush. I can't imagine he's going anywhere. 8-5 works for the straight for Run the Karma. She's smart enough to just check it back, though. Rick Vaughn was probably looking for another bet. Or at least would have been okay with one. But now, I would say things are getting really tough for Run the Karma, and it's getting worse here. Okay, good lay down there. She had a flush draw. It wouldn't have been any good. Run the Karma with a pair and backup pocket pair as well with a better flush draw. Run the Karma getting very short. And yet, one double up, and, you know, she's got to play a little stack again. 2 pair versus an ugly ragtag board. Run the Karma. Granted, does have a 4 or an 8, but there's already 3 clubs out there. It's got to be tough being her right now. Terrible hand for Run the Karma. I mean, she's playing uphill. No doubt about it. That one, I think she could have seen a flop. Like I said, at this point, I don't really know what other options she has. 3-3-4-4 is an interesting one. Oh, he's going to let it check, actually. Run the Karma with middle pair, which is good. Keeps checking, though. And the most that Rick Vaughn can bluff is 360. He's going to... Oh, wow, it still worked. And that's Omaha for you, even though you've got a pair of queens. You know, just all he needs to do is have a king or a ace in any of his hole cards, and he's got you. Rick Vaughn smashed that board. Top pair with king I flush draw, and now add a straight draw to everything. And, ooh, hold on now. Rick Vaughn still got it, but that's a board that he's a little vulnerable to. Run the karma just with a pair of queens and an ace kicker, but got to make something happen. She's thinking about it. Doesn't want to do it, though, and frankly, the pot was probably too small. He could only bet 680,000. I think he would call with two pair. Just looking for any sign of hope for Run the Karma. It's just not coming. Maybe Rick will fold here. Got top pair with draws, though. Yeah. He does stick around. He's got two pair now. He's not going anywhere. I don't know if he's going to bet, but he's got two pair. It is just not happening for Run the Karma. Rick Vaughn with a fantastic starting hand. Run the Karma. Willing to call. Getting on incredibly thin ice here. Willing to just play for it. She hit top pair. At this point, there is just not much she can do. And let's see. That's 9 of spades gives Rick Vaughn another straight flush draw. Why not? The pocket queens obviously are what is really working for him here. It looks like Run the Karma at least has a fair shot at this. 6 for a straight. Jack's no good. It gives Rick Vaughn a better straight, but 6 for a straight. 10. I think king works as well. Yeah, king would work. Because Rick Vaughn would have needed jack. So 6, king, 10, 3. Or 8, maybe. Yeah, because he doesn't have a jack. 6, king, 10, 3, 8. But it can't be a spade. Jack gives him the better straight. They both get it. Run the Karma. Finally runs out of chips. I don't know what the heck she was supposed to do there. That table was tilted toward Rick Vaughn that whole match. But Rick Vaughn played a fantastic game of poker there. You can't really argue with him being the deserving winner. He won a lot of pots there with no cards whatsoever. So did Run the Karma. Very entertaining matchup. Unfortunately, the finale ended up being very one-sided. But I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. We got plenty more to come from the OSS in September 2023, as long as they don't do any money chops. Because then, I don't care how big the field is, how big the buy-in was, I'm not covering anything to do with chop. You know me. You should know me by now. But they didn't. They played for it straight up. I'm proud of them for it, and they put on a good show. See you next time.